Let's think. Biggest news of the week.
In Mike's mind, you got to think like Mike.
Are we talking about the Batman controversy?
Yes,
Batman
the
don't
Batman controversy.
Do you know about this, Vinny?
The Batman can't eat out Catwoman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Let's talk about that.
This is Michaela Lee, and you are listening to The Usual Saints.
Welcome to a new episode of The Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Vinnie and Sainte.
Hello.
Whoa! What the fuck is that?
What
Hello. Someone got really loud, or is that just me?
That's just you.
I was listening. I was like, whoa, I just got blown out. All right. So we got a lot of shit to cover this week. We had Vincent on, but in a play, we're going to flip flop, and I'm going to release that one next week because we talked about pretty much evergreen shit that time. Besides Sainte going to New Orleans, but no one knows when that was, so that's fine. I want to talk about first thing because we're going to delve into as much of this topics list as we can cover in the time we have. Are you guys big into hockey at all or no?
No.
I'm not big into it. I like it, but why? What's going on?
Well,
the Islanders tied it up? Yeah.
Yeah, the Islanders are in the semifinals playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. I forgot, it slipped my mind that they were playing Tampa Bay, so I didn't get to go on Sunday to watch the game in Tampa. I did go to game 2 Tuesday night, which sucked because the Islanders won game 1, lost game 2 when we were there, me and my dad. So I
saw that. I saw your post, yeah.
My dad being a big Islanders fan, he thinks he's bad luck or all that kind of bullshit. Let's see, game 3 they lost the first game they played in the Coliseum. However, last night with game 4, it ended in spectacular fashion. So the Islanders are up 3-0. Third period starts. I'm hoping that they can just ride it out. And then all of a sudden the Lightning score 2 goals, and I'm like, oh fuck. So there's 10 seconds left, less than that. Somehow the Lightning get the puck. They're going towards the goal. The goalie, I don't know how to say the Russian names, Valimov or something like that. He comes out of the net to because there's 3 seconds left to try to stop the puck. The Lightning guy, McDonough, he does a twist and a turn, and he goes from one side to the other. So he fucks the goalie and he hits it, and the puck's about to go in the net, the unguarded net. And this defenseman, I think his name's Pollock, he dives in front of the puck and stops it. It was a thing of beauty. I lost my shit. I was like, oh shit. I love that kind of stuff. Hockey, anything that's more than one game. That's why I'm bigger into football. I technically grew up a mile from where the Islanders play in the Coliseum. So I love that. I love that. That's my heritage, and my dad's a big fan, and that's where I grew up. But the Steelers, every game fucking matters. They have one chance, and that's especially in the playoffs. In basketball and hockey, there's 82 games a season. There's 7 games in each series, 5 to 7 games in each series in the playoffs. And I mean, the Magic are just straight garbage, but I'll still be a Magic fan. But the Islanders have at least been pretty relevant the past few years. They made the semifinals the past 2 years, and they played against the Lightning, lost last year. But they did tie it up this year. They're 2-2. So that means there is going to be a game 6 when I'm in New York. So I can go see the Islanders play for the first time in my life at the Coliseum. It's $400 a ticket right now, which sucks. So I just got to think if I want to spend that money, I kind of do, just to say I was there. And especially if they won, that fucking energy at the Coliseum is going to be fucking insane. If they win game 5 and then game 6 is the deciding game and they can win it all, and I'm there for the semifinals, that'd be amazing. Because I've never seen them in the Stanley Cup Finals. I think they almost made it in the 90s, but I'm kind of pumped about it. We'll see. The Lightning are tough though, so we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw a little bit bit of their post game interviews yesterday when they won. So yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's just in this environment now. Most sports is turning that way. That's why football. I mean, half the popularity of football is basically because 16, or I guess this year is going to be 17 games. It's easy to keep track of. Games are on. Well, now like what, Sunday, Monday, Thursday.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But before, you always knew when the games were on. Who was playing or your team, and it becomes an event where like basketball. I mean, they've been talking about the basketball regular season is too long for years, and this year I think it finally caught up with them with so many people getting hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an argument to be made that you get a better sample size of what teams are actually good and what teams are not by playing those long games. Baseball, I'm like, I don't know how anyone keeps track of baseball.
162 games, holy shit.
But football, a lot of it's like at the end of the year, whoever's not injured, that's usually who's going to have the best shot in the playoffs and stuff. So
right.
I mean,
I remember in the 90s. I mean, I don't know about Vinnie. Sainte, you're a few years younger than me. You guys ever play the Ken Griffey Jr. for the Super Nintendo, the baseball game?
Yeah.
I played it, but again, I was never a big baseball fan. So
me neither. I'm not a big baseball fan, but that game was I loved that game, and so I played 162 game season. I'm like, fuck that. I felt like it had to be a perfect season too. So I'm like smacking homers. I'm doing all this shit, and I had fun there. But I can't watch a baseball game. There's no time limit. Anything without a time limit, I can't.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. I don't understand.
It's just like I was saying before. I had to run a baseball game last night, and it was fucking 3.5 hours long. Some of their innings were like 20 minutes long. Just it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
brutal.
All right, so I want to get to the biggest news of the week. You guys know what that is?
Let's see.
It'd be interesting to make a guess of what Mike.
Yeah. Let's see from the topic list. Let's see what you guys pick. Vinny, what's your pick?
Topic list? Oh
yeah. No, or you can. Well, I put it on there. That's a giveaway, I guess. What do you guys think, just in general, without looking at the topic list?
I'm sorry, I have to look at the topic list.
Biden's dog passing away. I don't know.
I don't give a shit about that. Is that the one who attacked the person in the White House?
I think it's the other one.
Oh, okay. So the one that could have been, attacking people and probably people wanting more out of the White House is still alive. Okay.
There you go.
Let's think. Biggest news of the week.
In Mike's mind, you got to think like Mike.
Are we talking about the Batman controversy?
Yes.
Batman
controversy.
Do you know about this, Vinny?
The Batman can't eat out Catwoman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Let's talk about that.
So go ahead, Sainte.
Well, this is kind of interesting. I was going to ask, do you watch that Harley Quinn animated show? It's really funny. It kind of has a kind of a Rick and Morty vibe to it. It's I think one of the writers may be from Rick and Morty. I don't know, one of the creators, but it's what's that chick's name from The Big Bang Theory? The blonde.
Yeah, shit. Fuck. Now you got me fucked. Let me look.
I know we do this, and we're not like standing right in front of computers with the information of the world at our fingertips. I'm just like, who is that?
Kaley Cuoco.
Cuoco, yeah.
So she does the voice of Harley Quinn. She's the executive producer, but it's raunchy, it's filthy, it's R-rated or however mature. I don't know what they do for TV, but it's funny as fuck. It's very meta. They're like, there's jokes inside of jokes. And one episode, it was making fun of the guys who possibly. One episode started out 2 fat guys on the couch talking about the new Harley Quinn's coming on, man, and it sticks to the canon. It's break the fourth wall, all kinds of shit. So for me, it's like DC is basically, or Warner Brothers is basically let them do whatever they want with this series. I mean, it's not canon. It's not to be taken seriously. It's violent. Like I said, it breaks the fourth wall. There's cursing. There's Harley Quinn, and it has a crush on Poison Ivy. So they're,
I thought they were in a lesbian relationship on the show. No,
well,
they definitely had sex. No,
yeah. Oh no, they've had sex multiple times because they've gotten drunk and they end up in bed together. That's why Harley ends up falling for Ivy. But Ivy was supposed to be marrying Kite Man. If you're asking who the fuck is Kite Man, exactly. That's the kind of show this is.
Fucking Kite Man.
Yes, it's funny as shit. Yeah, Harley Quinn. I know Poison Ivy. At first, Kite Man's a fucking loser kind of villain because his ability is he has a giant kite in his back. You know, that's the joke.
Oh my God.
But eventually Poison Ivy falls for him. He's a great guy, but then, you know, at their bachelorette party, I forgot what episode it was, they get super drunk and Harley and Poison Ivy end up sleeping with each other multiple times. It's a bit.
Nice.
So I guess the point I'm saying is
what is Harley Quinn on? Where can I see that?
HBO Max, I think.
Oh, HBO Max? Okay.
Yeah, it was on DC there. What was it? They like the DC comic book, they had their own thing, and then Warner Brothers was like, fuck you, we're making HBO Max, and totally screw them up.
Right.
And so, but the point is, this isn't a serious show. It's raunchy. And when I heard about this, like that wouldn't even be the most crazy thing they've done on the show yet. Like they literally have Ron Functions. You know that comedian Ron Functions, big black dude. He plays Killer Shark, where he's a big intellectual, but he's murdered people, random people, and be like, "Oops, didn't mean to eat those people," you know. And they show the blood and guts and all kinds of crazy shit. So to me, it was very odd that this is the line in the sand that DC decided to take when it came to this show. So I guess that's my 2 cents. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand. I haven't seen the show, but like it's I know it's for mature audiences, or at least older audiences. Like it's not for kids. So like DC just flat out saying that heroes don't do that. I mean, that's the line. That's the line that is on all the T-shirts now. Like heroes don't do that. So like they're saying that all their heroes don't go down on women. So, I don't know what they're doing to.
And the show's pretty smart. So in the first season, it deals with Harley Quinn, and she's basically breaking up with the Joker because, well, he's the actual Joker, not like, you know, I've to become the comic. Let me turn on the comic book nerd switch for a second. I've really hated how they've turned this Joker Harley Quinn into some kind of romance deal. It's like, no, the only person the Joker loves is Batman, because Batman's the only person that you complete me kind of deal. And Harley Quinn is basically his punching bag. And the reason why eventually in the comic books and in the first animated series, she goes away from the Joker, she realizes the Joker's a Joker. He's a giant dick. And I've always hated this, you know, where they try to make, it's the ultimate love, and the Joker and Harley Quinn. It's like, no. This is the ultimate abusive relationship. Yeah. So in this series, they start with that right off the bat. Joker's being a dick. Harley's like, fuck this, I'm going off on my own. But in the, I think in the very first episode, they do something smart. It's a big explosion or whatever, and basically Batman's taken off the board. That way, Harley Quinn is building up her criminal empire because Batman is in a coma. So in the first season, Batman only comes back in the final episode. But it's also a way, like, I think a lot of these, like, what you would call side projects that they do, or a spinoff in the spinoff series, it's always good to take away, because it's like, okay, Harley Quinn, she's going to become the new main villain of Gotham. Well, it's hard to believe if Batman's still around. Probably not going to happen. So they do a smart thing by taking him off the board. And to me, it's like this whole series, they haven't used Batman. They've purposely avoided using it, and they only use him in like very comical situations. So for DC, it just shows there's probably some suits. They saw the script, and, you know, somebody probably freaked out about it. Like, whoa, wait a minute. In this scene, you got Batman going down a Catwalk. Can't have that happen. You know, they're like, and I'm sure the writers are like, have you read any of the other shit that we've been putting out for 3 years? What the fuck? So
I think the biggest thing for me is if it was reversed, do you think on that series that they would let Catwoman go down on Batman?
That'd be awesome.
Here's the thing. Maybe not, but definitely they wouldn't have used that excuse. It wouldn't be heroes don't do that kind of thing. It probably would have been like, well, you know, fellatio, you know, somebody probably was just uncomfortable with it, and that was just the excuse that they gave them, which is just kind of weird, because it's obviously people who are not, you know, fans or paying attention to this series. But, you know, I could see, you know, it's probably the oral sex that got everyone in a tiff, but to use that as an excuse, like, you made a bad situation worse. Like, what the fuck? Like,
right.
Oh, okay.
Did you see that Zack Snyder tweeted out that picture of Batman going down on Catwoman?
Yes.
Like, and he said it was canon. So,
yes.
So I thought that was funny. That made me laugh. All right. What else happened this week? Let's talk about the deaths. You know, guys, know I love the deaths. By the way, Lost Media Wiki, I went down that rabbit hole. I don't know that I want to say I recommend it for others, because especially if you go to the not safe for life section, which is not safe for work. This is not safe for life, meaning that if you look at this shit, you won't be able to scrub it from your mind kind of thing. Okay. So I've talked about that in the past with the Christine Chubbuck things and Bud Dwyer and all that is in that section. So I took a little dive down there, and it was me being with my morbid, macabre fascination with that kind of thing.
Yes.
It was a little weird, and it was all sad. Obviously, there was one about it was like a Japanese, I think, YouTube girl. She was like 14, and she killed herself, jumping off a balcony. And so like the next day, it affected me so much. Like I talked to my daughter, and I was like, hey, so just let you know, if you have anything like that, you can talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, talk to someone else, because like it's just sad. But I mean,
it's real, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's real. It's life, and it's out there. And so I told Sainte that in the chat that I think that was bad enough. Not that you see anything, but you see the camera falling down with her from the balcony. It's horrible. But the Virginia Tech transcripts, because you don't get to hear the audio of the shooter, who I forget that he killed 32 people and then himself, so 33. You forget that number, but it's just really crazy to read, like basically the transcripts of what the 911 operator was saying. Basically it's everything that's happening, and you think to yourself, you're not in that situation. Like if there were 15 people in the class, they all should have fucking bum rushed them at the same time and took them out. But you're not in that situation. You're not thinking like that. This is fight or flight, and you're like, this guy's got an assault rifle and he's killing people. So you're thinking
about saving your own self, and at that point, it takes a special person to step up and go, you know what, he may take me out, but I gotta end this. So
and that's what sucks. Like in the transcripts, there's two guys in particular that block the door and confront the guy when he comes in, and since they're one-on-one and he's got an assault rifle, they instantly get killed. It's even if it was 2-on-1, maybe they would have had a better chance. And again, I'm not faulting these guys. I'm not trying to disparage their names. They were doing what they thought was right. It's just sad to see that. And so, like I said, that's a rabbit hole. I don't necessarily recommend going down it, but if you're like me, it's fascinating, I guess I would say, to find what media. And it's not just gross media. Sometimes it's like the lost episodes of Doctor Who. Are they lost forever, or have they been found? So it is literally the Lost Media Wiki. So it was interesting. But back to the dead people for this week. So the biggest one probably is Ned Beatty, and that touches like a lot of if you want to say pop culture or geek stuff. I mean, he was the lackey in the first Superman and second Superman and maybe third Superman. Was he in the Richard Pryor one? I don't know, but
I'm not sure.
Was Richard Pryor 3 or 4?
Richard Pryor was 3.
He was 3,
because 3's great. 3's got that like liquid. It's not lava, but it reminded me of lava. And then that lady gets covered with metal in the machine, and then and Richard Pryor's there. It's all. I remember him being in 1 and 2. 4 is the garbage one with the solar powered Superman.
No. 3 is garbage. 4 is where like it's garbage, and we are going to spend zero money on effects. Like, whoa!
No, I know. Woo. Yeah, exactly.
I like Drunk Superman. That was 2, right?
Drunk Superman, was that 2? No,
was that 2 or 3?
That was 3. When
was Richard Pryor. Okay,
yeah, because Richard Pryor made the bad Kryptonite.
Okay.
Remember? It wasn't quite Kryptonite. It just made Superman bad. Not even bad. Just like like you didn't give a shit. Yeah.
We may have to do a screen review of how the fuck did Richard Pryor end up in a Superman movie?
I don't know, man.
And it's in part 3. It's like I remember 1 and 2. 2 was Zod. I mean, General Zod.
General Zod. Yeah.
2 was good. 2 was a great movie.
2 was good. 2 was good. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
in fact, I saw. I watched the Johnny Carson that Richard Pryor was on just recently, and he was actually promoting Superman 3 on that episode of Johnny Carson. I thought it was funny. He's like, "Yeah, it's a great." He's talking about. Yeah, he was talking about some of the stuff he had to do on special effects that he was involved in and stuff, and it was just funny. I mean, in comparison to what they do now, what they had to do back then to make something look, and it looked like shit anyway, but they're trying to make it look half real. So that was cool. Yeah.
Well,
Richard Pryor, Superman 3. Yeah. Go figure.
Well, Ned Beatty, like I said, a lot of people remember him from that role. Again, this goes back to me being a cinephile, but Sainte will probably call me out on it. I've never seen Deliverance. I want to, but I've never seen it. But that's the one where, I think everyone probably knows Squeal Like a Pig Boy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You got a pretty mouth. Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't even just in those two. I mean, he was in a ton of movies. I mean, I don't know how many, but
he was in a lot of movies, man. A lot of movies.
Yeah.
He was in The Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. He was just played a senator and that, a bad senator. I just pull up his IMDb. It's fucking, it's long. It's a long career.
One of those guys. Like, oh yeah, I've seen him in, ton. Yeah. Never a lead actor.
No, always a character actor. He's definitely a good character actor. Tons of roles. Everything he plays in, he's good. Yeah. So. He was in Back to School. Rodney Dangerfield. He played one of the deans or something. He's been in a bunch of shit. A lot of shitty movies too. He's been in, but he's been in a lot of stuff, man. You pull up his.
When you're one of those guys, you're going to be in a lot of shitty movies. Yeah, it just comes to the territory.
I've seen that guy. Yeah, I've seen that guy in something else. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
I mean, to be totally honest, I forget that he was alive. I didn't know he was alive. It wasn't something I thought about. He was in Toy Story 3. He was Lotso. He was the villain, wasn't that? That's the bear, right? In Toy Story 3. No, for some reason I was thinking not that it was Ernest Borgnine. I was feeling it was someone else. There's another guy who sounds like Ned Beatty that I thought that was. So that's interesting. I didn't even place that one. And you're right. He was in Shooter, Superman 2. What's some other stuff that I would remember it from? Oh shit! I forgot he was on Homicide. Homicide. If you guys haven't seen it, it's almost like the precursor to The Wire.
Yeah, and I watched it.
It's good. It's rough. It's real. It's gritty, but also on network television, so it's not as great as The Wire. But I still love that show. And I forgot he played one of the main characters, Bolander.
Right.
So that was good. Sorry, I'm just reading through. Oh, he was on Roseanne. He played John's
father,
Redman's dad. Yeah.
Right.
Shit. He was in all this stuff, and
he was in Rudy. He was.
He was Rudy's dad.
Rudy's dad.
Huh?
Yeah, he's Rudy's dad.
He's a great that guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was actually in Captain America. Did you guys know that?
Captain America.
What did he play in Captain America?
What the fuck was he in that?
He played Sam Kolowitz in the 1990 Captain America.
Oh, shit.
The one that no one remembers from 1990.
Wow.
Sainte, did you even know that there was a Captain America from 1990? And you're kind of geek, but
I did, because at one point I went on a dive of all the terrible when they were trying to make superhero movies back when they had no business. There was that terrible Fantastic Four one they tried to make. There's a Japanese Spider-Man, if you ever want to deep dive into it, which is actually it's really interesting. Like the Japanese and their deal with Spider-Man is pretty kind of weird. But I've seen a bunch of this, so I did know there was the old school Punisher. There was a Punisher back in the day.
You talking about the one with Dolph Lundgren or a different, or the one with fucking Baywatch? Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff. Oh no.
Yeah,
he was a Punisher
too.
Yes.
Yeah, man. They've milked Punisher for a long. Which
wow.
I mean, and then you got who's in the
who's in the movie?
Which one?
The one from Walking Dead. The one who did it on the Netflix show.
John Bernthal. John Bernthal was great as a Punisher.
Yeah.
He needs to continue playing that. Yeah, he needs to continue playing that role if Marvel will incorporate him somehow. Just like Charlie Cox still needs to be Daredevil when they introduce him into the cinematic universe. Those two actors are great in those roles. And I have not. Go ahead.
I think they will. I think Charlie Cox is going to play Daredevil. I think he's going to be Spider-Man's lawyer in the next Spider-Man movie that comes out. Don't quote me on that, but that's what the rumors are.
Oh, you know what? There's everyone and their mother is going to be in No Way Home. Like you got Alfred Molina is going to play Doc Ock. You supposedly have people spotting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, even though they're saying that they're not going to be in it. You have Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe, theoretically going to be in it. I'm excited, and I think that comes out before the multiverse, Doctor Strange, Madness, Multiverse of Madness. So we'll see what happens. That's I think it's Black Widow, Eternals, and then Spider-Man. Oh, and Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings or whatever.
Yeah, I'm about to say
that comes out too.
Shang-Chi comes out like September.
Yeah.
Slides in there.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, Ned Beatty, like you said, great character actor, great that guy. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was alive, but it's always sad to hear one of those guys.
Silver Streak. He was in Silver Streak with
was that Richard Pryor?
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The other big death, I say, for me, from my generation, I don't know where you guys fall because you're a little bit on either side. I don't know if you guys watched John B. the Genie from Pee-wee's Playhouse. The actor's name was John Paragon. And so I read that and I was like, oh, shit. Again, didn't know the guy was alive, but, that was a big part of my childhood, watching Pee-wee's Playhouse, the show, and, then the movie. But, just another one that's gone. He was in his 70s, I think. But, just another guy that's gone.
John Paragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Paragon. He was, let's see, 54. So 46, 77 years old.
It says he was in Airplane 2 as well. He played the economy flight attendant. So I don't know which guy he was. I have to go back and watch that. But I mean, I love Airplane and Airplane 2. Oh, he was in UHF? Damn, this guy was in all the good shit. I'm a big fan of Weird Al, so UHF is one of my favorites. But and he was in obviously Pee-wee's movies, Big Adventure, Big Holiday. But and apparently he partnered with Elvira. Do you guys remember Elvira?
I saw that. Yeah. Elvira.
They did a whole bunch of stuff. He would direct and produce her stuff. So, but that's it. I just wanted to touch on the deaths for the week. Yeah. R.I.P. Ned Beatty and John Paragon. But
yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break because I don't know how long we're gonna have with Sainte. I want to make sure we knock out at least 2 parts. So you've been listening to Usual Saints. We will be right back.
Yep.
Sweet.
Hi there, this is Romanda Brockett, a registered dance movement therapist, and you're listening to the Unusual Saints podcast. That means if you're tuning in with underage listeners, you might want to be careful. There's some language in here.
Welcome back to Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here with Sainte and Vinnie. And let's see what else we have to talk about. Talked about deaths, which I love talking about. Tonight, the Foo Fighters are playing the first show at Madison Square Garden in 15 months. It's been empty for 15 months.
Wow.
They were asked to be the first ones, and due to New York rules, plus I think the Foo Fighters' own stance, even though that hasn't really publicly been said, but the states they played in, they just played in California at some smaller venue for 600 people, and both New York and California require, if you're going to be going to a concert, that you're fully vaxxed and you provide proof of it. And so you're getting all these nutbags protesting outside, saying that they're being discriminated against because they can't go see the Foo Fighters because they're not vaxxed. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that is unfair to people? Do you think it's not an unfair requirement because it's coming from the state government and the venue itself? I mean, what do you guys think about this?
I don't think it's unfair at all. I mean, if that's if that's a rule that they set down, then that's what it is. That's the way it goes. In California, it's California and New York where they're doing this.
New York is the one tonight. The one they did the other day, I think.
Was it California?
Yeah, it was California, and that's where Ricky Schroeder protested with all these people saying, "Oh, you're taking my rights! I hate you, Foo Fighters!" That kind of shit.
Nah, I think it's ridiculous. Isn't California one of the states that has the most people vaccinated? They're totally opening up now, right? Aren't they?
I think so. I don't know that, but
they've been the most aggressive with the mask protocol and the vaccinations. So I think they're fully opening up now, from what I understand, from what I've heard. Anyway, the governor's gone ahead and said, we've been successful in this and blah, 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 blah. We're going to go back to normal and see what happens. So
the strangest thing to me about this is I feel this has all become, it has nothing to do with science. It doesn't even have to do with rights. I feel this is all just one political hodgepodge hodgepodge that's come together to where I feel these exact same people, if there was a situation, say 10 years ago, you take these same, vaccination my rights. And if another group had been protesting outside the Foo Fighters for whatever reason and saying, hey, I'm being discriminated against, or, what the government or whoever's doing, is discriminatory between me and this group, I feel these exact same people would be the people like, hey, why don't you shut up? If you don't like it, leave the country, go move somewhere else. If you don't like America and blah, blah, blah. But because coronavirus and to an extent vaccinations, whether or not the virus was created in the all that, I think has become so politicized that it's just crazy to me that they've turned this. Here's another thing. So these same people, and I bring this up all the time. I live in Hillsborough County where Tampa is, right? And there's this issue about all these people about, oh, you're not going to tell me or my kids to get vaccinated. We want the schools open, everything else. When I moved here, they told us, yeah, your kids cannot go to school if they are not vaccinated for polio, TB, tuberculosis, all kinds of vaccinated. For years, decades, we've had it to where if you're traveling out of the country, going to certain parts of Africa,
you got to get a booster.
South America, got to get a booster shot, got to get vaccination. So for years, vaccinations have not been this political thing. Only now, where we've literally had a global pandemic that's killed 600,000 people, and now people are bitching about it's my rights. Oh, conservative, it's my body, my choice. Funny, conservative, my body. Wondering where they're picking up that language from these conservative people worrying about people's bodies and their rights, as red states pass more and more abortion laws. So I just think we've just turned into this where everything's becoming political, where you could have these restrictions on tons of things before, but coronavirus, and I do think this is dealt with like the way social media, like I'm thoroughly convinced half these motherfuckers, I did my research on Facebook, or I've listened to this conservative podcast, and they've told me that this is just a slippery slope to Bill Gates inserting a microchip inside of you and getting all your information, and that's why I'm not getting vaccinated, blah blah blah. Like literally, you have what's the guy, Cowboys receiver, I don't know if he plays for the Cowboy anymore, talking about
Bills.
Oh, he's on the Bills now.
Cole Beasley is what you're talking about, right?
Cole Beasley, and he's writing now, I'd rather retire than get vaccinated, and I hope the NFL calls his bluff. And of course, what's going to happen, he's going to become a martyr, and he's going to end up with a right-wing radio show, Facebook, YouTube, and become, the NFL, they canceled me because I refused to get vaccine. Like, no, motherfucker, you're a health risk, and that's the reason why. You know what's funny? If these same people, I'd like to see what their attitude toward HIV, AIDS, and all these things were back in the day, and what are your attitudes toward those people and their rights and stuff like that. So, it's a little more uncomfortable to wear a condom than it is a mask. So, when the AIDS was going on and they're pushing condoms on everybody and safe sex, I mean, were these idiots actually going out there and having unsafe sex because they felt it was against their rights that they had to wear a condom? I mean, these people, they just sound like they're people that are making stupid choices. That's all. I mean, whether it's politicized or not, they're just, I don't even think it's that. I think if it wasn't the coronavirus and everything, let's just say it didn't have to do with coronavirus and it was some other kind of vaccine, or if it was like, I don't know, polio or just something, I really feel like a lot of people would have no problem with vaccines, no problem with people being like, hey, you have restrictions. Let's put it like this. Some comedians, like there's a technology that Dave Chappelle kind of helped create, and now they use a lot of comedy shows. They make you put your cell phone inside of a secure locked bag before you go to a comedy show because they don't want people videotaping. Right. I don't hear these same people talking about, well, how come it's my right to have a video? Technically, why do I have to put away a piece of my property to buy a ticket to your show? But Dave Chappelle, hey, that's the rules. So basically, the Foo Fighters saying like, hey, motherfucker, you don't like it? Go sit down. But I think because coronavirus, everything around it has become politicized. Fuck the health, fuck this. It's like Fauci, this is another crazy thing that leads to, it's like, I don't consider anyone perfect, including Fauci or any of the people working at the CDC, the World Health Organization. They're human beings, they're fallible, but they'll take any, misstep or any flub that Fauci or anybody from the CDC says and blow it up to be this whole politicized, you see, they're lying about this, and it's happening
happened from the very beginning, from the inception of this whole thing, the whole COVID thing. I mean, the media has blown it out of proportion to taking not the COVID thing so much, but the way people have been responding to it and reacting to the protocols and things like that, and the politicizing it the way that they did. And that's all Trump did with that thing, was politicize it. Right. He used it as a weapon to, bash liberals, so.
I literally feel and I think Trump wasn't the cause of it. No. I think he was just like a booster shot of nitrous to where that with social media, Facebook.
He took it and ran with it.
I literally think eventually this country, we're going to destroy ourselves and kill ourselves from stupidity based on this shit. It's like people don't understand anybody can go online and post anything, and now everything becomes politicized. I literally, even some of my friends who I consider, not right wing, whatever, but they'll just regurgitate bullshit they hear on Facebook. Right. Like, hey, Saint, man, didn't you hear? Like the vaccine, man, it's how they're gonna track you. I'm like, oh my god, it's like, dude,
track me.
They want to track you. Go ahead.
Like I'm hard to find anyway. You need to put a tracker on me. I mean, you want to know where I'm at? Just call me.
I didn't mean to cut Saint off. Did you see? I don't know if you guys watched John Oliver. I watched him this week. They had a woman at a government meeting, I think in Michigan or something like that, and she's talking about she became magnetic after getting vaccinated. So she pulls out a fucking key and puts it on her chest because she has like kind of a V-neck, and it sticks there for a little bit without sliding. You know why it's stuck there? It's because it's a key, and you probably were a little sweaty, and it's a slant, so it's not like it's straight down. It was going to drop straight down. When she tries to do the same shit to her neck, she puts it on her neck and it falls right off. She's like, oh wait, let me get a pin, and she tries to do the same shit, falls right off. And so this bitch is just like making herself look extremely stupid in front of a government body, plus the public who's watching the video. So.
Well, that's the whole thing, Mike. I mean, that's a large percentage of the people, that are against, doing the right thing, against the protocol, putting up a fight against putting a mask on because somebody who owns a business asked them to put a mask on. That's the rule. It's their company. It's their business. You want to go inside, put on a fucking mask. And the people that are the stupid people, like the lady you just described, I mean, they're out there in droves, man. And they're just making themselves more obvious, and I think it's a good thing. So you can fucking avoid them, and stay away from them, But I mean, there are a lot of stupid fucking people out there, man, that have made this whole thing a catastrophe. You know what I mean? I mean, if 600,000 people dying from this isn't a good enough reason to at least put forth the effort for 15 minutes when you go into a store to pick up your eggs and bread or whatever, as soon as you walk out of the store, take the fucking mask off. What is the problem?
That's just here in America. And I know obviously we focus mainly on America because that's where we're from, we broadcast from, but we have international listeners too. And so, I mean, around the world, what is it? 2 million people have died, I think, something like that. I mean, it's like it's around that number. So like, it's not just 600,000, and not to say 600,000 is little. Anyone who says 600,000 isn't a lot is a fucking idiot. Because that's a lot of dead people where this could have been avoided or at least lessened if more policies and whatnot had been adopted earlier and kept in place, like the lockdowns. Yeah, New York had a whole shit ton at the beginning, and they have their own little nursing home controversy. But when right after that initial bump where they had a whole bunch of people dying, they went down like immediately because they locked that shit down. California locked that shit down. You get all these other places that, like Florida, we haven't had like probably a peak or anything like that, or not a crazy tall peak, but we've been steady the entire time and we're fully open. And I'm double vaxxed, but I still will try to wear my mask everywhere I go, whether it's out of respect for others or just for my own safety. I
go to the store, I still wear it. We still have to wear them at work. And we have our own pods that we sit in. We're not around anybody. The door's shut, we're inside. Management walks by, they see you without your mask on, they knock on the door. Hey, put your mask on. It's like,
I said, I guess the point I was saying, I feel like a lot of these same people, I feel like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, this wouldn't have been as an issue. Like pre-Facebook, pre-Trump, pre-all that shit, I feel like if we had gone through a pandemic, say like in the 90s or, early 2000s, but I think in where we at right now, this is what caused just a whole lot of stupid. And it's like, you don't get, I mean, to your point, Vinny, of course, people like us, I'm going to avoid these stupid motherfuckers, but a lot of these people, they do this stuff and they're rewarded for it. Like, Like I said, Cole Beasley, if the NFL tells him, hey, man, you don't get vaccinated, go kick rocks, we're not going to let you infect people, he will get a job on Fox News like the next day. He will be on right-wing media.
Well, like you said, he'll be a martyr for the cause.
Exactly. So it just boggles my mind that this is where we're going. And to me, I don't see how this ends well. Like, if a pandemic is sending people to the hospital and kill, the only thing that would have changed it, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, and sorry, I got to leave in like 5 minutes. Only thing that would change it is if, take this exact scenario, but if you had flipped it, and, you know, I'm not wishing death on anything, but I've always thought in my mind, if it wasn't the seniors who had passed, but if it was children, if it was an early age virus that was killing people, I think the exact same numbers, say the exact same, you know, type of virus, but it was a younger, it attacked young people instead of the whole spectrum, I think it'd be a vastly different attitude towards the way people act toward this virus. I really do. If it was people's kids that were in the hospital and shit was happening, I guarantee you people would have a different attitude about it.
But do you think that's true? Because in Hillsborough and here in Indian River County, you get those fucking anti-mask parents who sued the school boards and lost because they don't want their kids to wear masks because I don't know if they don't think they're going to get sick or not. They don't want them to get vaccinated. Also, you're talking about probably conservative people who they want people to have kids. They don't want them to have abortions. But as soon as that kid gets popped out, they don't give a shit and they don't want to help raise them. They don't want them on the public teat. They want them fucking, oh, hey, that's your problem now. Fuck you. I mean, I get what you're saying, but
it's not the logic part I'm doing it. It's more on the emotional part, because unfortunately, I think a lot of people are like, well, they're old, they've lived their life, and they're passing. And it's way harder to tell people to shut the fuck up about deaths when it's people's kids, because you know that'll start a fight. You know, someone be like, hey, I feel sorry for your grandpa, but you know, you're gonna say, hey, I feel sorry for your 6-year-old. That'll start a fight. So but for sure, again, it's this lack of logic in this we're entering this age where, you know, fuck your expertise, fuck your degrees in your school. I read something on Facebook, and so I'm gonna, like, John Stockton talking about sports, NBA John Stockton. I don't know if he's still all-time assist leader. He's on an anti-vax. You know, he's like, from the research I've done, it's like, motherfucker, you're in research. Yeah, he's in a documentary talking about, you know, he's anti-vax. COVID is a whole, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. From the research me and Carl Malone have done.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, there could be something to say, like, just not believe everything. The World Health Organization, like any international organization, has issues because you got to deal with, you know, you're not just dealing with people who are for the most part on the up and up. You got to deal with China and Russia. And from the get-go, I was like, yeah, China and Russia, that's what they lie. There's, as much as we like to think about it, those are still, Russia's basically a dictatorship run by, you know, an autocratic dictatorship run by Putin. And China is still a communist country. So yes, they lie, but they take little snippets from these organizations, like, oh, well, you know, it's all bullshit. I don't know. I'm just very fearful, like, where we're headed, you know, and, you know, good on the Foo Fighters. For me, I wish more, like, you know, we could talk about, you know, if we have time, the Lin-Manuel saga and him apologizing. But I am on this kick where, like, I do believe, like, admitting when you're wrong, but not necessarily apologizing for something, be like, hey, you know, we can do better. But in some cases, if I'm the Foo Fighters, like, yeah, man, you motherfuckers go kick rocks, like, fuck off. I wish more people just be like, no, we're taking the moral high ground here, and you can protest whatever. You know, Ricky, fuck, tell him that
Ricky Schroeder,
go fuck off, go eat a 1,000 baby dicks, get the fuck out of my face.
He's been packed up in mothballs for a while, so he wants to put his name out there again.
Right. The easiest way to become a right is just become a right-wing martyr. It's the easiest way to make money. I was just talking to my wife. I was like, you know, if we really wanted to make a lot of money, if I wanted to clear all of our debts and everything, I'd just become a hardcore right-winger, anti, you know, liberal, progressive, anti-black. The easiest way to make money. And I'd be on Fox News tomorrow. Easiest way to make money. So
you saw that reporter who, before her report about AC repairman or something like that, she was going to interview an AC repairman on Fox in Texas or something like that. She started out her report where, before I start my report, I have a thing coming out on Project Veritas tonight on how my company won't let me is shutting me down and won't let me talk about whatever. And she got fired immediately, basically.
I mean, she was setting herself but let's be honest, she was basically setting herself up for her next gig. Like she
right.
And that Project Veritas is notorious for editing and, you know, coming up with bullshit, but it works because it gets into that Fox News right-wing conspiracy ecosphere, and they know how to repeat and which I wish progressives would do more, but no, it gets to that, and she knows she's going to get a job on, I don't know, The Blaze or some right-wing, Facebook bullshit. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I know Saints got to get out, so we do want to talk about the Lin-Manuel stuff. If it's still something that we feel like we can talk about in a few weeks, we can hit that up on the first episode of July. But, guys, before we leave, anything? Go ahead.
No, I'll let you guys know because probably tomorrow I'm going to contact the boat, see what time. I'm probably still going to be here probably after the 4th, so I'll still be here. So if we can record a few episodes before then.
Yeah,
cool. July 4th will be the next one that we record because we already recorded the 27th of June. So, and then we'll say goodbye to Saint for another year, and then
probably till about like, I don't know, September, October. I'll try. Yeah. I will make a more concerted effort to call in, leave voice messages or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be me and Vinny with our thumbs up our asses trying to talk.
That's right. I got 2 fingers up there, buddy. How about you?
Saint,
those are still good episodes. So go ahead.
We want we want the video messages. We like the audio, but if you can send us a video message, even if it's short, send it in. You know what I mean? Because we like seeing you. We can put that on YouTube and everything.
Absolutely, sure.
And plus the audio is usually cleaner than when you try to leave a voicemail anyway. So
gotcha.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Let's see. You can hit us up on social media, The Usual Saints, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. I don't give a fuck. All those social medias. You can find us on our website, theusualsaints.com, where we everywhere you can find our podcast is up there, YouTube and all that kind of shit. All the ways to contact us if you need to, plus our phone number 240-724-6877 if you want to leave a voicemail, text, or call in live to the show. Like I see, we have a viewer again, unless it's me somehow.
Oh my God!
I know.
The call. Press the fucking numbers, man. Let us know.
You don't even have to. You don't have to be a part of the show. You can just join in and say a comment or say we suck or whatever.
Just anything, man. Do me the favor.
All right, so we're gonna end this week so Saint can go do his thing, cook or whatever he does at 6:30 at night, and I'm gonna go see what's going on with my in-laws. Hopefully they're okay. All right, so for Vinny and yeah, me too. I think they are. I saw a picture of the car accident. It looked like they got sideswiped. So
is anybody calling? Somebody calling.
Someone is calling. Is that you?
That's me.
Hey, I'm not gonna answer your phone, dipshit. Okay.
Come on, man. Come on.
All right. So for Vinny and Saint, I'm Mike D. Thanks for listening to The Usual Saints.
Peace.
Peace.